Let's look at what happened in our backyard. March 8th marked the Swiss referendum held by our neighbors, the Swiss citizens. Which referendum? There's a very important issue, which is the digitalization of everything, including our documents. So the famous pimply guy, don't make me say anything else, who's behind the computer in there, knows everything about you. So he won't just know where you were born, etc., but he'll know your health records, what you've done, what you haven't done, because they want to combine everything into a single digital thing. Why do they want to do this? And cash too, for heaven's sakes. Disappear. Disappear! Why? Why? Because in this way they know everything about you and will make a lot of money. The banks with the commissions on the money. Those who have the data, who sell it to each other for billions, and you who will feed you a soup that is always the same, and you have to eat it at all costs. You no longer have the ability to judge, because everyone will do what they want with you. Alors, at any time, unless you obey the time. Unless you have the money and because politics is theirs, right? Yeah, theirs. So then I'd be switched off, as is already happening. In certain situations, so much, so that we are back to being one. We aren't truly retransmitting it, okay? Please let me take a look at what Colau said in that meeting a number of years back. Please, let's hear it again. Come on.
I believe that the public administration, frankly, should go in a different direction. I have already said this at another conference of the Knights of Labor, that is at the moment in which we should aim to completely digitize cash. In Italy, we are talking about whether the limit on cash should be euro, 1,000 euro, 3,000 euro, 3,000 euro. For me, it should be zero. That is, but we should say that starting tomorrow, the public administration, has a great vision. Yes, because this then forces everything else to become digital as here, to go, and by forcing the entire system to become digital, it opens up opportunities for entrepreneurs who can then contribute something in the various parts.
So this is definitely there. Okay, come on. Bye. Look. It's clear, Giorgio. It's clear. But he was CEO, then they also made him a minister, and here already the conflict of interest, the madness. He says, you digitize my companies, make a lot of money, and therefore have power over everything. And then, obviously, if you made him a minister, it means that the interest of the truly powerful in the European Union and in the West are also going in the direction that this gentleman was talking about, right? That for goodness sake, I would have wanted him to be CEO of a digital company if I had one, right? But of course, then administering the public, even less, even nothing, even zero, even buy, even I stay away from the public and the weasel in the hen house. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he says, I mean, it's incredible. Very good. What happened? But among other things, we see that the banks are making trillions just in commissions, just for the commissions. They are eroding the money from from circulation. You're failing to see this because you're, in fact, those famous chickens who, as Giorgio mentioned, actually wanted a fox or weasel inside the hen house, aren't you? Yeah, they voted to bring them into the hen house. Just think how stupid we are. But there's a people, however, who have a different culture, and above all, where the media are independent. For the system. That I won't explain to you now, but then we'll talk about it another day, because it's late. It's Switzerland. That they make you believe is the country where criminals put their money. I mean, it's not true. It's an independent country, neutral since forever, where people work hard. And I'm telling you these because, as I've said on several occasions, my mother was a diplomatic official, and her first assignment was in Switzerland for 10 years. And I had the opportunity to experience it, and I have many friends, and see the truth. The real truth, that is not what you see in banks where criminals take us. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Yes, alas, it's true that it's a bit like a safe, by the way. But there are people who work, and there's an economy based on people's work. right? And on respecting the rules, if the rules are respected, and coincidentally cash is free, there are no limits. There are no such problems. There are no tax evaders. But do you know why? Because taxes are fair. Everyone pays them because they are fair. Services are provided perfectly and are fair. So people also have a moral sense, a desire to say, why am I paying? Why are you giving me a service in return? I mean, I feel morally indebted, and so I pay you taxes, and those few who are being clever get caught immediately because there is a service that is efficient. It is efficient. And it's not that everyone is there playing with their cell phones and then they pretend to make laws that basically block everything and that everything must be digitized so that everything is more convenient. What did they do? Oh, are you crazy? They held a referendum to say no. Since in Europe we smell this burning smell, we want to include in the Constitution the right to physical currency, to have our monetary sovereignty, and to have physical, baguesical currency. We don't want it in ordinary law, but we want it in the Constitution. Because it already exists in ordinary law, and someone is already breaking their balls to cancel it. We want it in the Constitution, so at least we can keep it safe. And they did it in a referendum. They induced a referendum because in Switzerland, they also hold referendums on proposals, not just those abrogative laws, where people have their say. And what has the government done? After those who had the opportunity, therefore, parliamentarians, representatives of the Confederation, prepared this draft, constitutional amendment, constitutional addition, this story. They were forced, but they do it for their culture, to inform the citizens. We want to see the official film of the Confederation that inform the citizens of this referendum without all that nonsense that we have seen here. Please, just a few seconds, please. Let's listen to it. Let's see. This is official from the Confederation.
The initiative Cash's Freedom aims to ensure that there will also be enough cash in the future. Furthermore, the Constitution must establish that the franc is the national currency. Also, the Constitution needs to stipulate that the franc is the national currency. The Federal Council and Parliament also intend to enshrine in the Constitution the principle of cash supply and the franc as the Swiss monetary unit. Currently, this is only for this reason, they are proposing a direct counter-proposal that enshrines in the Constitution the principle. At present, this is only For this reason, they are proposing a counter-proposal that enshrines in the Constitution the principles and Constitution as regulated by law today. On March 8, we will vote on the initiative and the counter-proposal. What exactly does it involve? In Switzerland, people pay less and less in cash. Most people use cards or payment apps instead in Tantrum. At the same time, cash remains ribamamasa the seosokunai. In a survey conducted by the Swiss National Bank, it was revealed that 95% of the population is in favor of retaining cash. The Cash's Freedom Initiative's motive's primary demand is for the Confederation to guarantee the readily available supply of a sufficient quantity of coins and banknotes.
Okay, fine. That's why otherwise we'll get carried away. The video will last much longer. In other words, the government made an explanatory video. Outside the parties. Third, it explained the reasons for the simple initiative and tried to understand, among other things, what percentage of people were already interested in the people, right? Right, shoo! The parties, not the friends of friends. The vote took place. Then there were also the commercials, by whom? And it also went down a bit. Let's see something quick. Here, look, this is an advert, for example. Can we listen to it, please? Please. You can invent all the apps you want, but you don't dare touch our monetary sovereignty. Sorry, my money isn't not your digital business, do you understand? These were poisoned, huh? Yeah. Here's how the whole thing ended. There was a vote, or were there also those who said, no, let's do it digital, let's join the Euro, the European Union, let's do it, maybe even the Euro, and so on and so forth, maybe even the Euro, and so on and so forth. Oh, let's see how the Swiss responded. Here it is. Boss, easy. I mean, practically all of it. You see, the whole of Switzerland is light blue because it's watching us on Turquoise TV. There's practically not a single canton, a single province, a single nothing, where the opposite one, where, let's say this initiative would have been rejected. Well, would have been rejected. Well, been rejected.
I would like to know the people who voted against that 26%. I would like to see their faces, what problem they have for that. But that is structural. No, I'm joking.
But while a percentage of people, let's say, who always reason against it, we also see it on social media, right? Of the others, they are the ones who write in the end. It's not because people read, get informed, etc. The others. And there they are. That is structural. But structural is one thing, and it is another to mislead people with lies, to vote in a certain way, because it is convenient for the so-called mainstream. And therefore, for the powerful. We will talk about this issue next week, and we will also give some examples. We will end up like nuclear power. Out of fear, we voted against nuclear power in 1986, and now we are buying nuclear power from all the countries surrounding us, paying 4 times as much for it. That is a good deal, right? So this time we did things the same way. But perhaps our children and even our grandchildren will one day see this, because this is what it is and what it will continue to be. There are other free, independent countries, neutrals, who respect citizens and allow them to vote in the referendum without interference of any kind. And Alberto, then Giorgio to close. Please.
Hey, I have a title idea for a future episode. Let's invite someone with far more expertise than me. But from what I understand, we'll need an additional modification. In other words, we'll be conserving paper and physical cash, but the issue is that the production of physical cash is handled by banks and subsequently loaned to the state size. The problem, the truly significant one, is that the cash doesn't even belong to us. In any case, let's start by saving that. Then after all, we need some experts to talk about this topic.
Yes, because the lira, for example, belonged to the bearer, right? And that was our money. Please.
No, it is completely and utterly evident that the battle to safeguard cash is a battle for civilization.
Yeah.
And also for monetary sovereignty. Because the Swiss wanted to make their position clear. No, if we have to maintain our sovereignty, then please don't bother us with the euro. Kindly stay away.
It's quite obvious, huh? We had proof of this in recent days when, for example, in Sweden, the government recommended accumulating cash because clearly in a period in which there is uncertainty about the future, no, we are a post-historic world, right? Then history comes back. And all those other structures that were doing well in periods of stagnation, of well-being, etc., they later can show their limits in times of crisis, right? In times of crisis, the good old methods, unfortunately, are the only ones that guarantee your survival.